Boom. And we are now cooking. Predict Shark episode. Probably something like 6. I'm just making that up. What do you
Sounds
think? Does
good.
that sound about right?
Sounds kind of right if you count live streams, of the debates and stuff. I think this is our fourth like official one.
Official.
Yeah, dude. The speaking of live streams, man, I'm looking forward to election night quite a bit. I think that will be a
Be a
killer
good time.
live stream, man. Watch some results come in. We can
Make sure you have
drink.
enough beers in the fridge.
I was gonna say, drink some beers, have a good time. That'll be a fun one. There's a lot of like markets about individual states too that will be super interesting to watch. Just those state winner markets are really great. And then now they have those ones with how much of a percentage will either candidate
Yeah, I
win
think those could
by.
be fun.
Yeah, I think those would be really fun.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So we'll start. We'll just quickly look over the general election market since that's where a lot of the volume is coming in on these days. That's where the big money is getting played. Let me pull that up right here.
Yeah, really crazy swings on this one.
Crazy swings. And I would like to say that we were, kind of the first on the map to like talk through what we were seeing and that we didn't think it was, like a flash in the pan and that there was actually some traction behind it. OX Rise saying, "Yo, what's up, man?
What's up,
Thanks for
dude?"
tuning in." But yeah, last week we covered the big moves in the Rust Belt individual states and how we thought that we should see a matching of that in the general election. Now PA is actually matched up with Trump 56 and 56.
Wow.
But then there's been big swings in Michigan and Wisconsin. Wisconsin's now 50-50 and Michigan's now 52 for Trump. So pretty wild stuff. A lot of that activity as well. Not all of it, but a lot of it has been over the past 24 hours. So this is, Predict Shark showing the amount of volume coming in. 24 hours, there's, thousands, over 10,000 buys.
Crazy.
On the yes and no, almost 10,000 just on the yes. Can see the big spike here in yes buying and selling. That happened actually like this afternoon, early afternoon, and then this is the transaction that happened overnight. But basically covering exactly what went down. Interesting. It looks like Uma Whale. Oh, there he is right there. So this guy named Uma Whale, who doesn't go by Uma Whale anymore. He goes by Time Question on Polymarket. He's the leader on the month in volume. He has 108 million in volume. This guy has a really interesting profile. You'll like this because it's all over the place, right? He has big money down on the winner of the Sao Paulo mayoral election for like
that's wild.
3.5x, 135 grand profit, which is wow. But he's got money on, different people winning the Super Bowl, Ukraine stuff, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't even have like top markets for like political stuff, which is very interesting, right? Like the closest that you can get is down here, $2,300. Will Trump launch a coin? Like, will Donald Trump win the U.S. election? He only holds 3,500 shares of that. But our trading picked him up as one of the top buyers of the past 24 hours. And he, in a single transaction right here, bought $326,000 worth of shares at 317 in this morning, and completely unloaded the entire position, over the course of like 7 hours. So,
so how much was he up on that trade?
Good question. I'd have to pull up the specific user profile to see how much he was up. But he may have made a couple percentage points, right? So he may have like bought 360,000 and sold it for like 380 or something like that. But I just thought that was super interesting. That was like the big, surge in the buying this morning. And then the fact that volume's so insane that he was able to unload his entire
Right.
book as like, prices continue to go up. So right now we're showing him over the past 24 hours on presidential election winner. So on Donald Trump and on Kamala Harris's side, although I think most of his trading was on the Trump side, he did like $744,000 in total volume. We're showing him realizing a $52,000 profit.
Nice morning for him, dude.
Yeah, across all the markets and like fully exited, so not a lot of risk.
Yeah.
But Freddie 999 and Princess Caro, like the big Trump whales that were the ones that kind of pushed Trump up in the Rust Belts last week and kind of sent this whole swing into motion. They accumulated more shares as well. Yatsen is being shown as the top like buyer on the no side. But if you actually look at his profile on Polymarket, he's not even holding like that much. He actually has 104,000 on Kamala Harris now and 79,000 on Trump now. So I think he hedged out and sold a lot of his position.
Super interesting. Love that we can get into the details here with the Predict Shark app and see exactly how this was flowing. I mean, a lot of this came on the back of why a lot of this money started moving, in my opinion, is on the back of some of this recent swing state polling data that's been coming out, and several reporters such as Mark Halperin, really strong reputation, neutral reporter guys, talking about how the private polling, which is usually far more accurate than the public polling, is coming in really bullish for Trump over the past 7 days. So, these guys are probably tuned into it. Obviously, they've got some money laying around that they can push into some of these plays, and that they're making some moves on these markets. We'll see if some of the gains hold up here at 56. That seems a little bit high for me. When you look at the electoral map and really how close the race still is, it probably comes down a little bit, and Harris swings a little bit back up as we head into election day. But wow, just wild swing here. I think also it's important too. I see a lot of people on social media, a lot of political commentators and people on both sides just like freaking out about every little move that goes on Polymarket. They're like, oh my God, the race is over. Trump's up to 56%, and it's like, guys, just slow down a little bit here. Like, this is still, essentially a toss up. It's within the margin of error by the time this thing settles out due to market moves. And a lot of folks don't have the insight into, some of these users that are really driving most of the volume. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting things to note on this, but exciting, man, to see some of these just crazy swings in data that we're able to track with the app.
Yeah, and lots of volume too. Luca Not Basing, I made 4K in the last 6 months on Polymarket. I'm very happy with it. That's awesome, man. And yeah, you should be proud of that. There's a lot of people that have probably lost 4K or more. So if you've been in the game for 6 months and made 4K, you're doing great. So congrats on that. OX Rise says, will you guys talk about the Colorado rally and Trump? Yeah, we're going to cover that in a brief sec. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I agree with you. The percentages could stay this way, could come back the other way. Who knows? I did notice some people like just Cam kind of hopping back into the markets a little bit. So taking Kamala Harris, yes, at 47, slightly underwater there, but not too bad. Stuff like, will a Democratic candidate win popular vote and the presidency for like 120K? And then would Donald Trump win the U.S. presidential election for 100K as well? So some of the whales are kind of coming in and starting to take nibbles on the other side, which I think is a fairly decent bet, especially as you said. There's a lot of time from now until the election for things to tighten up, or who knows? It's October surprise month, right?
Yeah, I saw a message from Domer in a Discord last night. Maybe it was the Polymarket Discord, and he was basically saying anybody who's telling you this isn't a toss up at this point, I just wouldn't respect the opinion. And
Yeah.
that kind of tells you an idea of like where his mind is at on these trades. I would imagine he's just seeing, kind of a drastic overreaction based on some of the volume and some of the recent polling, and he's probably trying to swing this, for a little short term gain, or he may be, bullish on it long term through
Just hold it through.
resolution, which is
Yeah.
possible, and just getting a great, lower price. We'll see if he continues to average into it over time. But yeah, I tend to agree with Domer on that one, that this thing's a toss up, dude. It's really going to be hard to gauge.
Yeah, it's not in the bag for Trump by any stretch of the imagination, although it's interesting that he is going to places such as Colorado.
Extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. And so the Colorado one, you can kind of explain it through the sense of like Aurora, Colorado, has been a main attack line of his throughout this campaign. He's been talking about the Venezuelan gangs taking over the apartments. And, they're in the real estate business. They've got AK-47s, the whole fucking, line. So like he's making kind of good on the campaign promise of going to like one of these like hotly contested immigration states. It was either Springfield or it was Aurora. So he's doing that. I think that makes sense. The one that makes zero sense is the Saturday at Coachella, California. Like no chance of winning that. Like there's not really any races there that are super valuable. Like I don't understand why he's going to California. So he must be feeling really good, with less than 30 days to the election, heading over to California.
Maybe see some fresh air.
Hey man, we've got some beautiful
dry desert air.
We got great weather right now, man. I mean, 70 degrees out, beautiful sunshine, beautiful women hanging. It's a great place.
Can't go home because of the hurricane, right?
Yeah. Trump can go get a taco bowl,
Oh man, that sounds phenomenal. So what will Trump say during Colorado rally? We got a lot of words here. Looks like 20 almost.
Yeah. So I think this Colorado speech, kind of as I just touched on, is going to be really heavy on immigration issues. The whole reason he's going to Aurora is because of that controversy that we just discussed. So, for me, I like things like China 10 plus no. I don't think China is going to be a subject on this one. He's going to be focused on other things. Nice, a little upside on that one. I like Hillary. Yes. So a big addition to his recent speeches he's been talking about the Russia collusion hoax and really bashing Hillary a lot. He's been getting in 3 or 4 crooked Hillarys or crazy Hillarys per speech recently, which is kind of funny. Wow. Another one that is interesting to throw some bids on. I wouldn't chase it here at 50-50, but I like it in the 40s is Barack Hussein Obama. That's been another one that he's been talking about quite a lot. And an interesting one to keep an eye out on as well is North Carolina 3+ times on a no. The hurricane thing is now going to be starting to shift towards Milton. He's going to talk about hurricanes. He's going to talk about what a bad job Kamala Harris did with the response to the hurricanes. But, it's starting to fade out a little bit. This is going to be focused heavily on immigration. So for him to hit on North Carolina 3 times, not sure that one is going to hit. So keep an eye out on this one. I like it more in the 30s than I do here in the 40s. But keep an eye out on some bids for these. These order books will move quite a bit over the next 24 hours.
A little underdog pick. And when is this? This takes place tomorrow?
Yeah, this one's tomorrow. I think it's like 3 p.m. Mountain time. So like 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern.
Man, tax 30+ times.
Yeah, that's going to go no. I mean, the price here at 83 is kind of, it's not the most appealing, but if you're looking for a bet that's pretty sure to hit, I like this one. Do you have any
data on that? Like, how often does he say it?
Yeah, usually it's in the 20s that he hits taxes, like low 20s. Occasionally he goes on a real spree and will get over 30, but 90% of the time it's sub 30. And in recent days, his speeches have been a little bit more focused on, a very regimented range of attacks. So, it starts with the hurricanes, then it goes to an immigration section, and then it goes to a tax section, then it goes to a manufacturing, like foreign policy section. So he's not like focusing on one thing quite as long as he was, earlier on in the campaign. This is go time, 30 days before the election. He's got to be really disciplined on making sure he hits all those points and isn't, just focused in on one specific
Trans
thing.
at 90s wild. Is that just like a teleprompter thing?
Exactly. Yeah. So one thing that is an important thing to look at when you're looking at speech markets is what things is he saying on teleprompter versus off. If it's an on teleprompter thing that's a part of the every single speech stump, right? They call it a stump speech, the thing that a candidate repeats every single time they go up on camera. That's part of it, right? So the specific line is we're going to get rid of critical race theory and transgender insanity in our schools. Same thing with like Missile Defense Shield. Kind of funny story on this one, but yeah, Missile Defense Shield is a part of the stump. Talks about we will build a missile defense shield and strengthen our military. The teleprompter went out yesterday during his speech, his original speech, and Missile Defense Shield did not get said, and everybody freaked out. So prices went from 90 on the yes and 10 on the no to like 60-40 in favor of the no. And then sure enough, because people didn't realize it was just the teleprompter went out. Everybody was going, oh, dude, like they took it off the stump speech. It's never going to happen again. And then, of course, like last night in the market that actually counted in Reading, he said Missile Defense Shield, dude. So it ended up being like a nice underdog hit. And everybody who like rushed and rebalanced on it, ended up getting hit. Like FEMA was another good example of that, right? He said FEMA earlier in the day, right? The Scranton speech, but didn't say it in the Reading speech. And like everybody went and rushed and rebalanced their trades based on it. And like,
because that was an off teleprompter thing, the FEMA thing.
Correct. It was an off teleprompter attack. So yeah, just like kind of really like studying, the frequency and the context of how he says it. And then that like cadence of it in the speech, right, is like really important. So just keep track of that when you're looking at it. Like a good example on this market of something that's off teleprompter is Reagan, right? So Reagan is an off teleprompter term, or Barack Hussein Obama or Hillary is an off teleprompter term. The reason why like you wouldn't chase these up as high in price is because there's an element of chance in it being off teleprompter, right? If you study Trump riffs, his riffs like change week to week, right? So he goes 1 week, has these little stories that he puts in between his speeches, and then the next week it's new little stories, and he cycles them, right? So like Raising Cane, General Raising Cane talks about how he took out ISIS, right? Or he talks about what's the famous one about Abdul, right? Like, I told Abdul, you don't do it, Abdul. You don't do it, Abdul. And then he shoves the picture of his house, and he's like, yeah, you tell me what the picture's for, Abdul. He's got all kinds of them that are just hilarious. It's all part of the entertainment value of Trump, dude. He's not like a normal politician, that's for sure.
Yeah, that makes the markets interesting for sure. Hey, people still like the crypto Bitcoin. They're still wanting to throw money on it every day. You love to see it. And he's got one more speech market open, I want to say. California rally.
Yeah, there's
that one.
No, there's the California rally.
Pretty similar.
Fairly similar. There's some terms in here that are a little bit different. So like, Alaska, Elon. We talked a little bit about the off teleprompter thing. That's in Alaska, so Alaska's probably pretty fairly priced here. An interesting one here is Drill Baby Drill. No. So Drill Baby Drill is a term he loves in fracking states. So if you're in Pennsylvania, I would never bet against Drill Baby Drill. But being in a state like California, where fracking and oil isn't really as important, it could be a nice upside no hit on Drill Baby Drill. I would throw bids in because you can get those to hit in the teens. It's overpriced on the market buy at 25. But that's a good one to look at. Um, Green you scam 2+ times. So this is an interesting one at this pricing level. This is an off teleprompter one, but it could be possible that this creeps down a little bit lower on the S price and it becomes interesting here in the low 30s or the 20s. I don't know why they did a God 10+ times market. That'll go no for sure. I have zero idea why they put that. Tax 30+ times is another one to keep your eye on here. If it creeps a little bit lower in price here on the 70s range, potentially take a nibble. Border, keep an eye out on this one, live trading. So California is a border state, but it's got, a huge Hispanic population. There's a lot of things to talk about in California besides the border, right? Like, there's taxes,
like even taxes,
crime,
like interesting crime. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would just keep an eye out on these ones, like live trading them and seeing like, okay, are we getting a lot of border spam here? If we are, maybe take a yes. If not, maybe take a no. But I think that's a live trade one. I'm not going to touch it here before the event.
What's up, T Ward? We're talking speech markets right now.
What's up, man?
What do you think about like unrealized at 78? They're going to talk about unrealized taxes. A lot of money in California.
I like unrealized. That's been a consistent one that he talks about in his tax bit. He's like, Kamala proposed an unrealized capital gains tax, and it's going to ruin the economy. That's his whole part of his whole bit. They tried it. They tried it only in communist countries. And, I said, we will never have socialism in America, but we've gone right over socialism. We're straight to communism. It's like the whole little bit, dude. So I like unrealized. Probably get it at a little better price though. I think there's some people that are just market making on some of these.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I mean, rewards are fairly juicy on these speech markets. It's like, $20, $30 a day.
Just to sit there even for a lot of volume.
Yeah, for a minimum share of 20, right? Like that can be pretty nice just to do that. Too big to rig. That's an interesting one at 3+. If prices go a little bit lower on the no, could be an interesting one. Yeah, it could be an interesting one on the no there. He usually says it once or twice. That's only in like 80% of the speeches. So if your odds are a little bit better there, it becomes interesting.
100%. I like that.
Yeah.
Especially the large spread, throwing some bids.
Yeah, the spreads on the Kamala market in particular today were insane. So I just made sure to let people know in the Twitter post and in Discord, like, hey, don't market buy these. Like, put in bids at reasonable prices because you don't want to chase these things up into the 90s or the high 80s. Take them at good odds that are prices that make sense. And that also presents some opportunities as well, right? If you're able to get some of these bids to hit early, some of these you can actually just sell prior to resolution. Exactly, and make a good profit, right? So there's actually several trades that we had on the Kamala market that we were looking at that already. Like, hey, we're up a great percentage already. So just interesting things for folks to keep in mind as you head into resolution.
Totally. T-Word says, when is this California rally? So this is on Friday, and then the Colorado rally is tomorrow on Thursday.
Tomorrow is Friday.
Tomorrow is Friday.
So
sorry, California is
California
on
Saturday.
Yeah. Tomorrow is Friday, which is when the Colorado rally is happening. There we go. Cool. Yeah. So still, I love the speech market. Still a lot of opportunity to be had there. Need more liquidity on them. I'm going to have to put in some bids, give people more action. Cool. let's look at some of these new markets coming out. There's some interesting ones out the gate, like margin of victory in different states. I think these are pretty interesting. Really interesting, actually, because I mean, the thing is with these markets, only one is going to hit, right?
Yep.
Out of all of these, right? So it's not just like, you know, picking a team to win. It's like picking a score that they're going to end up at, right? It's a
Yeah.
little harder to hit. Definitely easier to maybe play the no side on these, but yesterday they launched. There really wasn't any volume at all. Now there's some volume trickling in. I think some of these definitely could be interesting, where maybe you can sprinkle in a few, you know, yeses on certain ones that you like, and then, you know, try to scoop up the no's on all of the ones you don't like, and kind of, you know, hedge yourself out a little bit. You know, like, you know, certain ones like Arizona margin of victory, right? You know, and a lot of these things, if you want basic information, you can like ask Claude, right? You can see what was the margin of victory in 2020, what was the margin of victory in 2016 or 2012. Kind of get an idea of where they're at, but I think these are fun ones to keep an eye on, especially as they get some more volume. Leo Minicello says, have you guys talked about Fed interest rates November 2024? No, but certainly happy to take a look at those right now in the stream. We don't trade the like the Fed stuff too much. We don't have the best odds, but you say 50 BPS, yes. And no change look good to me. Interesting. So you can get no change for 84. You can take 50 BPS decrease for only 8.
Wow.
Yeah, which is over a 10x gain. I'm guessing that dropped off a little bit with like maybe CPI coming in a little high, but yeah, it looks like it's been dropping off since September. Maybe some good or bad, you know, it works opposite economic data. But I like plays like that, right? Because I like a 12xer a lot, you know.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, right. And then you can take like the safe no. So it looks like consensus is 25 bips. I'm sure that's where like the markets have it priced at. But I like that for a sleeper pick. And yeah, the no change doesn't seem too bad either. A lot of volume on this market, man.
These get a lot of attention, man. People love these
22
markets.
million.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of interesting too, even if you took like a 50 and then like a no change on the yes, you know what I mean? You can get that collectively for like 26 cents, you know, you make a little, you know, 75.
Yeah. Well, he likes no change, no.
Oh, he likes no change, no.
Yeah, so his bet is basically
He's thinking there's going to be some kind of a
there's
change.
gonna be an increase, but
Gotcha. For some reason, I thought he was saying no change, yes.
yeah, but 50's underpriced. So you could basically buy a bunch of the no, and then like whatever your expected gains from that, you know, put it on the 50 BPS yes. And,
Yeah.
And in that instance, you'd really only get screwed out if it was a no change.
Yeah, super interesting. I mean, no change doesn't seem like off the table considering they just, you know, lowered rates here recently. And, you know, he may be wanting to see some more data and give some time for that to play out. So, like, no change doesn't seem like a unreasonable yes to me.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, you know, as to your point, it kind of that taking the yes on both isn't crazy. You kind of think like, hey, they're not going to do anything, or they're going to do a big chunky one.
Yeah.
As opposed to kind of like sitting in 25 bips land. I wonder what Claude AI says. I mean, but you know, this stuff's only so accurate. But like, how often does the Fed do back-to-back 50 BPS decrease when they start with 50 BPS? It's awesome that Claude, man. Like, if the world
Claude's
ends,
the best,
hopefully.
dude. Dude, I downloaded it on my phone and I'm just constantly, you know, asking it shit about all kinds of things, dude. It's like it is just it's a better Google, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it says back-to-back 50s pretty uncommon. usually like reserved for like when it's pretty shitty. It's crazy. They share 2008 as the reference point. 2008 in January, they did an emergency cut of 75 bips and then had their official meeting 8 days later and took it down by another 50 bips. And then in
Sheesh.
March 18th, took it down by another 75.
Wow. That's crazy.
Oh,
So
actually,
like,
yeah, there's a recording of the stream. You can just watch it back on Twitter anytime.
so what's the usual thing? Like, do they usually, go with two decreases right in a row, or do they just like let it, do one quarter and then, chill for the next?
Let's see, Claude, give us an answer. It says, based on historical data, the Federal Reserve following a 50 bips decrease with another decrease, regardless of size, is relatively uncommon, but does occur in certain economic conditions.
Yeah.
So historical examples was 2001 recession, January 3rd, they did a 50 bips cut. January 31st, they did a 50 bips cut. 2008 financial crisis, in October 2008 they did 50 bips. October 29th they did 50 bips. But in both of those times, it seems like they did like an emergency 50 bps cut,
Right.
because they normally don't meet twice in 1 month, right?
Right.
So it's almost like they made an emergency cut before their meeting, and then they cut a further 50 at that again. Let's see. Generally, in recent years, the Fed has generally a more gradual approach, making 25 bips more common. I think that's why it's priced good, right? It's like if they're trying to slowly ease off, right, they do a big one up front,
Right.
and then they kind of slowly, ease off. Although I did read David Hunter, who's like a pretty good contrarian, like a pretty big contrarian. That's what he calls himself anyways. But like, he pretty much perfectly predicted, like after the meltdown in 2022, right? Economic meltdown. He like at the bottom was like, it's going to be up only until like the end of 2024, and was like spot on about that, right? And he did a video in October. He said that they were going to do a 50 bips cut. They did a 50 bips cut. And he said that he expected them to, he thought they were going to do another 75 before the end of the year, which would require one of the next two to be 50. So, but I feel like I got no fucking edge here. So
Same, dude. I'm just completely speculating here, listening to this analysis.
It's fun to think about. It's fun to think about with like the data and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm not betting. I'll bet some lunch money on it, but I'm not betting the house for sure. This one's interesting. I want your take on this. How many swing states will Trump win?
Yeah, super interesting. Could you remind me of the rules definition on this of which swing states?
Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. So awesome. Arizona, Nevada, Rust Belt plus North Carolina, Georgia.
Awesome. So right now, I would say Arizona, Georgia are locks for Trump. So that gives him at least two there. Michigan and Wisconsin are toss-ups. Michigan's been trending very well in favor of Trump lately, along with Pennsylvania. So, you could potentially have two more there on four. Nevada is looking favorable for Harris. That one still at this, this recent polling that's even been coming in bullish for Trump does not show it as winnable for Trump. It's looking very solidly Harris. That's why you're
the no at 7 at 77 cents, which is like a 50% return. It's not bad. A little bit under a 50% return, like a 35. 40.
Yeah. And then if you're looking at North Carolina, that one's it's still a toss up. The election odds on Polymarket right now have like 60% in favor of Trump, like 40% Kamala. I think that's a little bit, misvalued. North Carolina has been polling like a lot better for Harris than those odds would reflect. And when you take into account a lot of the recent events in North Carolina with the hurricanes and, how that's just devastated certain parts of the state, that's going to drastically change turnout numbers and the accuracy of polling leading into the event. So if you listen to, any, reputable pollsters talk about North Carolina right now, they're going to tell you, well, like, how are we even going to poll these people? They don't have internet access. They don't have phones. Like, we can't get an accurate read on the data. So that one's going in a little bit blind as far as that's concerned. So I wouldn't put it firmly in the Trump camp by any stretch. I would put that in the toss up there with Michigan and Wisconsin. But yeah, as far as like total numbers that I think are interesting there, that's 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, 5 states there that could go Trump on swing states. You could grab that for 14 cents. Pennsylvania, the reason why I would put it at 5 is because Pennsylvania and Michigan will likely go together. They typically do in election cycles. So if you're going to get Michigan, you're going to get PA, Arizona, Georgia are looking great. And then I think Wisconsin could trend still in the way of Trump there. So yeah, I like a 4 or a 5 there. Pretty interesting. I don't think he's going to sweep every single one of these. That doesn't make sense to me. So even if you want like a pretty decent sure bet there, right? You could even get in for the 77. Yeah, that's
not
just
that
like
Trump money is dumb, but some of the money is dumb.
Facts.
You can take some of it, just like you can do it on Kamala's side as well.
Facts, dude. Facts. But yeah, Trump's not going to win all 7 of these states. Like that's just. It's not happening, dude.
So I agree with you. Someone will clip that though if we're wrong.
Hey, that's fine. Go ahead, quote me.
Play.
Yeah, go ahead and quote me on that one, dude. That's the game. I won't be right 100% of the time, but I will be a majority.
This one's interesting right here. Will Coinbase list Pepe? There's not a ton of volume on it, but I just saw it on the new markets. Will Coinbase list Pepe in 2024? I was trying to find a list of like what coins they've accepted recently and if they've accepted any meme coins other than like the original ones that they've really had.
Yeah.
Like Dogecoin and Shiba Inu and stuff like that. I think they have like somewhat of a strict listing process when it comes to like understanding like the team, yada yada yada. I do remember there was drama back in the day when they didn't get listed and they're on Binance, but they're not on Coinbase, and there was like some drama around that, blah 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 blah. It seemed like some of the Coinbase team didn't really love the Pepe team. So
I was gonna say, well, the drama around it was the Pepe community just consistently harassing the Coinbase team over the listing. It was like it was ridiculous, And dude, I'm a fan of Pepe. I made a nice bag on Pepe. Was a holder for a long time. But dude, like, just it was Pauly just leading the horde at Coinbase every day, and it's
probably
like
put a bad taste in their mouth. So
yeah,
I think
dude.
The no's not bad here for like a 2 months like hold out kind of thing. The only like thorn in that theory is that Jesse Pollock, he's like on the base team, but I think he got promoted to like the Coinbase executive team, and he's been like, I think he's like much more like open to like trying to get more things listed, more meme coins in general. I think that he got Degen on base listed, like the day that he got promoted. But also that's a base coin, right? Like, and it's like well liked in the base community. Like if Pepe had launched on base, that'd be a different story. But that's the only thing that I think makes it where if it was just the status quo without him getting promoted, I may have been like, this is really good money here. Any other markets you really like that you want to talk about?
Nothing else that I have like really top of mind. Biggest thing I got on the radar right now are those mentioned markets we talked about, and then looking at some of these margin of victory markets. Just to kind of circle back on those a little bit. The reason I like them a lot is because you can get way better odds on this than you can just for a straight winner. Like Arizona margin of victory, you could take a couple brackets there for like 25, 26 cents, versus taking odds at 60 something cents on the overall race winner. So those are really interesting ones to look at. Taking a look just at the current polling data, and then looking at 2016 and 2020 data. 2020 data is a little bit convoluted because there was just record high turnout that cycle due to COVID and the mail-in ballots. There should actually be a market on just overall voter turnout, like whether voter turnout's over or under last cycle. I think that would be a good one. But my forecast would be it's probably going to be a little bit less as far as that's concerned. And these are some good ones to take a look at as we head into the final few weeks here.
Love it. Sorry, I was looking at this. Lana Del Rey pregnant in 2024.
Bro, there's some funny ones too. Like, did Ye cheat on Bianca? Like,
I saw that.
Like,
what? Like TMZ.
What the fuck? Like, how do I know what?
Right here.
What? Yeah, I'm sure he did cheat on Bianca, but like, how are you gonna get definitive proof of like? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I'm sure he cheats on Bianca once a week, man, at least. But like, what
I'm sure that'll be a fun one for the UMO resolvers.
Yeah. What about like, will Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift break up, or like, will they announce they're pregnant? Just like some silly ones. Oh, dude, interesting though. So on the alien market, is that the U.S. government that has to confirm that, or is that
in pop culture right here?
Yeah, I saw a funny article today that was talking about
if the president of the United States, any member of cabinet of the United States, any member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, or any U.S. federal agency definitively states.
Okay, so here's the interesting one. There was an article that came out of the Mirror today in the UK, where apparently Mark Zuckerberg owns a foundation in the UK that just is like constantly looking at space and trying to find aliens. I had no idea that existed until today. But they say that they found something that is like definitive proof that there's extraterrestrial life in the galaxy. And apparently like China is also like racing to like confirm this. And if it's, confirmed, they're going to release this sometime, within the next month. I like saw that and I was like, wait, hold on. What about that alien market, dude? Like I need to take another look at the rules. Maybe that's why it took a little price bump today. Like it would, I don't know, man. Cause this was at like 99% no the last time I looked at it. But yeah,
you gotta link me to this article.
Yeah, who knows, man?
When I Google Mark Zuckerberg aliens, it just says, "Is Mark Zuckerberg an alien?" And there's like 5 different articles on it.
I mean, that's
he's looking to return to his people.
That'd be a good poly market. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, like highly, highly unlikely that it is, but I mean, kind of an interesting one, especially when you're looking at like a 2%, 2-cent buy, massive upside kind of thing, kind of fun.
100%, dude. Just a little 33x cook.
Yeah, nothing you're taking the anything serious out on, but it's pretty funny, man. Where did I see that that Mirror article? Somewhere on oh man. Anyway,
20x your money if you think Solana will
Oh yeah, here we go. Now I got the article here. I'm gonna link it.
Sweet.
Yeah, Leo found it too. Posted it in the StreamYard feed.
Where'd you post it?
I think I posted it in the StreamYard feed. I sent you.
Okay, cool. NASA alien announcement space. It says NASA in it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of an interesting one. It's fun to speculate on it. 3 cents.
Okay, this is at September 14th. Okay, what is okay, huge alien announcement could happen.
Yeah.
You love your alien conspiracy.
I was gonna say, I love how I just derailed us into aliens, dude.
I love it. Honestly, love it. Dude, why is it so hard? Like Google sucks now for like searching things. Like they're so.
Yeah, that's the one right there. Yeah.
Huge alien announcement could happen within weeks. NASA funded projects, including a project pinpointing Earth-threatening asteroid. Says 2 rival astronomers. Oh, great. Look at all these ads. Are in a race to publish the first confirmed evidence of an extraterrestrial civilization.
Dude, I think
We
you're
have
confused.
found a non-human extraterrestrial intelligence in our galaxy. People don't know about it. He'd been given information by a contact within Mark Zuckerberg's Breakthrough Listen, a privately funded initiative aimed at finding evidence of civilizations beyond Earth.
That's the biggest story, dude, is that Zuckerberg is just like funding alien search like projects, dude. Like who would have guessed?
Wild.
Who would have guessed that, dude?
Hey, maybe Kamala comes out and says like we've discovered aliens and they said that they won't talk to us unless I'm president. Then we hit a 33x, dude. That's official. That's the president saying it.
Aliens are causing the hurricanes. We got the evidence. We got the documents. Black helicopters.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a fun one, dude. Zuckerberg's up to some weird shit though, man. He's looking for aliens. He's building like giant bunkers in Hawaii. You know what's he doing, man? What's that guy do?
He's on that billionaire shit, the next level shit.
Yeah, I guess
this one was an interesting ass market here. And some criminal charges in 2021. Apparently, it briefly spiked up yesterday, or like lately, up to above 25 cents from 10 when all the FBI charges stuff came out.
Yeah.
But let me see if we can get some better data on it with our app.
Yeah, congrats to anybody who made a little 2xer on that one.
The tricky thing with these gaps, right, is like this can show up if they just like you could have bought up to like 25 cents, right? And it'll still spike to this. That's like the spread, right? So whatever the spread got like reset to.
Correct.
Temporarily. But let's see. Okay, I got the 24-hour up. Let me see if I can get the 7-day up on this.
Yeah, that was pretty wild, right? Like, what was it? 18 people got charged or something?
Yeah, basically, like quote unquote market making, but they were really like, wash trading, manipulating volume and stuff like that. Pretty like clear cut stuff that you're like not supposed to do. Like, if you do that in the financial markets, you're going to jail. If you do that in crypto, you're going to go to jail, right? Like if you're wash trading stuff to do fraudulent things, it's not going to work out great. So I mean, it doesn't even look like it was a crazy amount of volume, right? It was only like a couple $100 buy, and then someone followed it up on the no side. But yeah, just look at this random crypto wallet comes in, just buys $529 on the yes.
That's hilarious.
Satoshi Nakamoto sold into that for a cool $413 profit.
Well played, Satoshi. You got away earlier this week on the documentary, and now you're running away with $400 in profit on Polymarket. Let's go.
Dude, that's the thing is that like I don't think enough people think about this strategy, but like when you're on the order books, you can capture like that kind of volume. Meaning like if you bought a bunch at 10%, why not like list 10% at 15%, 10% at 20 cents, 10% at 25 cents, 10% at 30 cents. And, if that all hits, cause some dude comes in and just wants to buy it all up, you just locked in like literal free multiple 100% gains. And you still have 60% of your bag if it, resolves to 100%.
Taking some profit off before the event, is never a bad thing, right?
Especially on these low probability, smaller markets where things can pump just with a couple of buys and then go back down because there's some sort of rumor, right? You know what I mean? Because if you're on the 10% yes and it never hits, you make no money, right? But like you'll take a 3 or 4x.
I mean, it was like the same kind of strategy in like NFTs, right? You would list up and ladder it up. You know what I'm saying? Because like you never knew when volatility was going to come in. Somebody's going to sweep. And like, dude, as long as you could capture just a little bit of that volatility on the way up, like, dude, you were making cash.
Because if you miss the sweep and then the follow through buying, and then you're like listing it on the way down,
list to the bottom,
just like undercutting people, and you're freaking out. You're like, no one's buying.
Oh
Good
yeah,
times,
dude.
man.
Oh man,
times.
that was so much fun, dude. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of the most, man. But yeah, great stream, dude.
Yeah, another great stream. I think
Yeah,
next week we could talk a little bit more about like Polymarket airdrop potential and like ways to farm it, or ways to get more volume. Touch on
yeah,
that for a little bit, and then cover the markets we like.
yeah. You mentioned this earlier on Twitter, but notable thing too that happened in just general prediction market news is Kalshi added that 4% yield on your
Yeah,
positions in cash, which was
yeah,
pretty cool. And then
huge.
they also had all of their election markets go live this week, so there was some interesting pricing on those. Like I bought like some of the state markets at a better price than I could have on Polymarket there.
Yeah.
And then
It's
I
worth
bought
it to
some.
load some money on there. Just, if there's ARB opportunities or better, you can get a better price. And it's all like in the US, so you can just load up money from a bank account, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that's a little like tough is just they have like this like wait
KYC or
period
something.
on you have the KYC, and then they have like a wait period on the deposits where like
Mm.
50%
So
is
do it
available
now. Don't do
now.
it the second you want to get on.
Exactly. Start loading the money in now, dude, and have it ready for some plays.
Awesome. Well, great stream, everyone. We'll be back Tuesday next week. Thanks for tuning in again. Make sure to join our Discord and follow us on Twitter, PredictShark, and get in the Discord. We talk a lot about prediction markets in there. Cheers.
Thanks for coming by, everybody. See you on the next one.